Greetings, friends. Welcome to today's devotion, Psalm 52. Why do you boast, O mighty one, of mischief done against the godly? All day long you are plotting destruction. Your tongue is like a sharp razor, you worker of treachery. You love evil more than good, and lying more than speaking the truth. You love all words that devour, O deceitful tongue. But God will break you down forever. He will snatch and tear you from your tent. He will uproot you from the land of the living. The righteous will see and fear and will laugh at the evildoer, saying, See, the one who would not take refuge in God, but trusted in abundant riches and sought refuge in wealth. But I am like a green olive tree in the house of God. I trust in the steadfast love of God forever and ever. I will thank you forever because of what you have done. In the presence of the faithful, I will proclaim your name, for it is good. So this is a psalm that is attributed to David, and like many of the psalms we have read previously, there is an outcry to God for those who are wicked and for the things that they're doing to the godly, and how again it seems the ungodly are prospering, and those people that are, in this case, trusting in their wealth. And in the end, as I've said a number of times, that trust in the things of this world won't gain us anything, and the pursuit of those things will not fulfill or make us feel whole, make us feel like God intends us to feel when we live our lives and spend our time pursuing those things of the world, which is a very easy thing to do, and it's very tempting for us because the temptation is all around to do things that we think we can get away with, or things that will be pleasurable for us, or something that comes at the expense of somebody else because we deserve it. Well, God is always watching, and a lot of what we see in the Psalms is about God being a just and fair judge. But I want to think more about just the last couple verses in this as the contrast for those who are living an ungodly or wicked life is contrasted with the psalmist who writes that I'm like a green olive tree in the house of God. I trust in the steadfast love of God forever and ever, and I will thank you forever because of what you have done in the presence of the faithful. I will proclaim your name, for it is good. There's always going to be evil in this world, and now as much as any time in recent history, that is very, very evident with what's going on in our country. And it breaks my heart to see the way that things are going. It just, and I don't want to get too much into that, but when I feel that sense, when I feel that sense of loss and that sense of hurt and that sense of wanting to cry out to God and say why, which I do, why are things going the way they are when God has the ability to change our world? I just try to think about my faith, try to think about the way that I connect with God, and to feel that sense of abundance as I'm rooted as this metaphor of being a green olive tree in the house of God, being something that is fruitful, producing fruit, and attached to the goodness of God and the worship of God and the praise of God as a way to bring fullness, the way to bring contentment, the way to bring peace into my life in a world where sometimes that peace is absent because of the circumstances of things happening in my life or happening in our world. We can always turn to God, always move towards God, always remember God's faithfulness and his trustworthiness and his love for us to lift us up and to be a breath of fresh air, if you will, in times of struggle and difficulty, or just to be reminded of how much we are loved by God, even in the circumstances when life around us is crazy and chaotic, and there's the presence of evil, whether it's a virus or riots or whatever it is, that God remains that one constant, that one steadfast thing in our life that we can always turn to and take refuge in him. And at times like this, we need a place of refuge to be reminded of the peace that God brings and the wholeness that God brings to us and the connection that we have with him that is possible because of what Jesus has done for us. When the world all around us seems to be crumbling, where else can we turn? And it's certainly not our wealth or any other thing in our life that's going to bring us that sense of fulfillment or contentment, but it is our relationship with God, and that's something that's worth giving praise to God in the midst of all that's going on in our world. Still thanking and praising him for who he is and what he has done and continues to do for us. God is always present with us, and he's always present with you, and you will always be his beloved, regardless of what is happening in and around you. Take stock of that and give thanks today for God, and think of the things that you are thankful for, even just the little things, to be reminded that we are incredibly blessed and always will be blessed, because the blessings of God are eternal and permanent. That's our devotion for today. Tomorrow we will have Psalm 53. So until then, be safe and be well.